and welcome back to the channel. Today we have, I guess, an interesting build. I had this sort of idea in my mind of what I wanted this build to be like, and part of it was actually I really wanted to do an industrial / modern style build, and I got this inspiration from when I've been in London on the train, and there's loads and loads of buildings where they're old sort of factory buildings or whatever, and then they've been converted into living spaces. So they're all like, you get, it's really industrial on the bottom, and they've got like the modern windows and stuff, and then like ultra modern at the top, and it's really, really cool. And I wanted to make something like that, but I also promised you guys for another Asian inspired build, so I kind of combined them both. So we've got, like, you'll see that it's slightly like eco, but then it's also industrial, and it's also modern, and then it's also like, I tried to make it like Japanesey, you know, like, I'm not really sure, but I just tried my best. But I had this sort of idea in my mind of what I wanted this to look like, and I got pretty close, I think, to what I wanted to do. But I'm quite happy with this build. I think that it turned out quite well. It's interesting. I don't know whether it'll be everyone's taste. The interior is kind of modern but cluttered at the same time, like modern but lived in. So yeah, I hope you guys like it anyway. But talking about trains, I was on the train the other day, and I was actually coming back from my boyfriend's house, and there's a point to this story. It's not just, blabbering on about my life. But it was, I'd actually tweeted about this, some of you saw. But I'd reserved a seat on the train because I knew it was going to be busy. It was around busy times, and it was, if you watched my last speed build, I said that I was going away for the weekend, and it was to my boyfriend's house, and so I'd booked my train tickets in advance, and I'd got a reserved seat so that I knew I could sit down. And when I got on the train, I then realised, I saw, and the train was packed. There were like, all the seats were full, and there were loads and loads of people standing. And I went over to my seat, and there was a lady sitting in it asleep. And there were loads of people behind me trying to get through the carriage, because they'd obviously got onto the train and were trying to find their seats. And so I just had to pull over to the side, and I basically couldn't sit in my seat because it was just too full to then be able to like go over, and then it was like a window seat as well, so I'd have to reach over people to wake her up, and it was just really, really awkward. And a lot of you on Twitter said that I should have started screaming at her or something, but I didn't. And if I'm honest with you, I was quite upset because I was coming back from my boyfriend's house. So I had my hood up because it had been raining outside, and I was actually crying because I'd missed him, and I was missing him on the way back home. And I think there was a lady who saw me, and she might have thought that I was crying about not getting my seat, which I wouldn't personally cry about that, but because I think most people would have thought that I had a cold, but I think she saw me wiping my eyes. But just randomly, like with the next station, I hadn't noticed that there was a free seat, and she'd found one, but instead of taking it herself, she'd offered it to me, which was really, really sweet of her. I then actually found her another seat behind, which, someone had put their bags on, and I'd said, "Is this seat free?" And they said yes, and so I went back and got her, and she then got a seat as well. But that was really, really nice. And also in my last video, it would have been, see, this is the green that I've been putting in, so it's kind of eco. And I'll just talk about the build just for a second before I carry on. But I've put these sort of big windows that I really wanted to use in that market build that I did, but didn't actually end up really using them, apart from on the more market bit. On the temple I wanted to use them, but I couldn't. And I use, like, although it's kind of stereotypical, I use like bamboo and stuff, and I use those light fixtures that look exactly like the actual fixtures which I've seen in China on buildings. And I also end up putting like this slat thing. I put the lanterns up as well, and I found this slat thing with a zero, like a zero. What am I on about? A circle in the middle, like cut out, and it makes it look like the window is a circle. And when I went to a lot of temples in China, all the sort of doors and windows tended to be circles, but obviously we don't have that in The Sims, so I kind of use that to replicate that, to kind of make the other sort of Asian influence. I don't know whether it would be Japanese. I don't know, but I'm sorry if I've offended anyone by calling this a Japanese inspired build. But back to the other story. And I sized that up just so that it would fit, but I put one of those on the back as well. And so the other story is, I'd mentioned this in my recent Let's Play that I just uploaded before this one. And I'd hurt my foot basically at work. And I'd had a case of 3,000 screws fall on my foot, and it just missed my steel toe caps. And it fell on my foot, and it was all sort of purple and swollen and that kind of thing. And my sister, while she was at work, she went and to a different shop, and she found a bath bomb that you can put in the bath, and it helps like muscle pain and relaxes your muscles and stuff. She also got me a face mask, which I'd been wanting to get as well, and it was just as a random present, and it was so sweet and so thoughtful, and both of those people were so sweet and so thoughtful. So I just wanted to say, a lot of the time we can get sort of wrapped up in our own problems, and I was having a tough week. I'd badly hurt my foot, and I'd also, had those other things happen to me. It wasn't the worst week I've had ever, obviously, but it wasn't a good week either. And so all of that was happening, and it's easy to get wrapped up in your own world of all the stuff that's happening with your stuff. But these people, they took the time to sort of step back from their own life, see someone else who was struggling, or just wanted to show someone else that they cared about them, and did something really lovely for them. And it really helped me get through that week. And I just wanted to say, I encourage you this week, if you've got, just some free time, or if you just notice, just take a step back from your worries. Really sort of take in what's around you, appreciate what's around you, and maybe help someone who's in need. I think that during this time, I feel like there's a lot going wrong in the world, and I think we could all do with that. But yeah, that's what I just wanted to talk about that. But so I put up the new sort of those little slat things all around the building, just because I thought that looked pretty cool. And it kind of reminded me, I looked at a lot of sort of modern Japanese building imagery, and a lot of them had stuff like that on it. And I also thought it kind of fit in with the industrial thing, that they could be supports, and it kind of fit in with the sort of slats and the windows with the sort of little panes and all that kind of stuff. But you would have seen before with the pool, what was happening was I couldn't actually draw the wall on the edge of the lot. It wouldn't let me do it unless, and it was just doing it then as well, but it won't let you do it unless it's a room. So I had to draw that little line, I had to take away the pool, draw another thing, and then draw a pool on top of it to be able to make it work. And if you saw, I pulled the wall away, and there was water, like the water effect was just floating there and just staying there. And I'm just wondering whether some of you, maybe you guys might be able to find a way that you can incorporate that in something else. Like maybe you could make a waterfall effect with that, where the water on top, like the water effect was on top, and it might look like it's actually cascading over the top of the spa day waterfalls. Just an idea that maybe you could put, maybe that's an idea to do if you wanted a waterfall down the side of the building. I have no idea whether it would work, but the idea just kind of came to me now. But it's kind of weird that there's that kind of thing that you can't do a wall on the edge of the lot. You can only do a room going up to the edge of the lot. It's kind of annoying. I mean, you can get around it, but it's just, it would have been nice had it been, a little bit more thought through. I don't know. But you would have seen me just then. I was just putting the beds in the rooms. And I do that sometimes because when you're building and you kind of do the outside and make that look nice, and then when you actually do the inside, it's sometimes difficult to be able to tell whether the bedroom's actually going to be big enough, and whether they're going to be too small or whether they're going to be too big. So sometimes I find that it helps just to put in some of the furniture. Like, I do it quite a lot with dining room tables and stuff like that, especially when I'm doing, because you guys who've watched a few of my videos, you'll know that sometimes I build things twice. I built this one, or at least half of this, twice, so that I can make sure that I'm doing what I want to do before I actually, and I did so much experimentation and, you know, messing around. This video would be probably over an hour long if I included all the footage, but I was really playing around with it, and it wasn't anything, you know, interesting or something that I think that you guys, maybe if you use my videos to learn from, whether you could actually learn from it, because it was just pulling and pushing walls till I got the kind of, I guess, 3D effect that I thought I wanted, you know, like I wanted like a certain shape, and it was just playing around with roofing and room sizes and all of that kind of stuff till I got something that just kind of felt right. It wasn't any, you know, there wasn't any other thing behind it, and it meant that because I was playing around so much, I was having trouble with the sort of rooms where, you know, the roof, like once I then deleted the walls on the inside, the roof was then clipping in and all of that kind of stuff, and because there were so many different rooms that ended up, you know, being made because I was just sort of experimenting and stuff so much. So yeah, what was the point of what I'm talking about? Oh yeah, so I put some of the objects in sometimes just so that I can figure out where, you know, if things are going to work in the space which I've done. So if you guys are ever struggling with that, I just, you know, just put in, even though if it's not, you know, a really pretty kitchen, just put in a fridge and a, you know, a cooker or whatever, and just any random bed, just to see, you know, space wise how you're going to do the rooms and whether the layout that you've chosen is actually going to work. But you'll see here I've kind of used the modern counters and stuff, but it's like, I don't know, it's, I put a lot of clutter in, and it does feel lived into me. I don't know whether it is modern or what you might call this, whether you call it anything. It's just random furniture, I think. But yeah, and with this here, I ended up putting some of the fencing on the outer walls. See here, I can do, I guess maybe because it's already classed as a room, I can put the railing there because it's like just changing the wall type. Maybe that's why I can do it. But I put that there because then it actually sort of breaks up the walls when, or you know, breaks up when it's put as, when you're in live mode or, you know, build mode, and you've got the half up half down walls. If I had it all as one straight wall, then these walls around the kitchen, they would be inner walls, if that makes sense. So the outer walls, which would be the perimeter ones of this lot, they would be classed as sort of the out. I'm not making sense, am I? Basically, the long and short of it is that I made the fencing there so that the walls would stay up, so that you could actually, you could see the actual decoration that I spent time putting up. Does that make any sense? Maybe. Something I realised when I was doing this build, and I realised, you know, quite early into it, but I was putting in a lot of candles. Just a lot of candles in this build. Not, you know, not sure why, but this family, which like this house, are candle lovers apparently. And I just wanted to put in lots of candles. I mean, they're good for filling up space and making things look cluttered. I think that's what it was, but not make it look, you know, there's quite a lot of items which are clutter items which would work well in a more sort of traditional home, like little cookie jars and things like that, but wouldn't fit in with a modern home. So it was easier to put in the candles to make it seem, you know, cluttered but still modern at the same time. Also, there's quite a lot of items in the lot or in the game at the moment which kind of had that Asian feel, which are candles. So I use them as well, just to try and make it better. But you'll see them. I've talked about this a few times, but sometimes the curtains don't clip properly to the windows, and what you can do is you can just move the window somewhere else, put the curtain in, and then move the window there afterwards, and it goes wherever you want to. So if you ever have that problem, then that is the solution. But I wanted to break up this bathroom. I wanted to have some sort of divide between it. I didn't want it to just be, an empty space. But so what I wanted to do is have sort of where the bath was, have it more as like possibly something that could be like a luxury spa kind of feel, and then you had the windows and stuff like that where you could look out, and in front of where this bath is I actually put a little garden in there. So yeah, I think it works out quite well, but I wanted to use more of the space, because I feel like with bathrooms there's a tendency just to line things around the edge of the room, and then you've got a big space in the middle of the room. And I find, actually, because bathrooms are one of the only rooms where you do that, it always seems like when you're actually playing in Let's Plays, the Sims go round and they always end up talking in the bathroom, and it's like there's so many better places that you can just talk to each other. Why are you in the bathroom? And it's mostly because of that, because the items are all on the edge of the room, so there's a big space in the middle where Sims can talk and interact. But if you have it more sort of divided up and have objects in the middle, it means that they'll go somewhere else. So if you're having that problem, then there is your solution. But yeah, I haven't used the 4-poster bed yet, and I used it for the first time in here. It's kind of, I don't know whether, I've never done a yellowy orange and green colour scheme before, so that's quite cool. And it's cool that, we do have these new beds that we can, do new interiors and colour schemes off of for bedrooms. It's like a saviour. It really, really is. Have I done... No, I think this is my first residential lot. Yeah, I think this is my first residential lot. So yeah, my first time using that bed. I'd used the bed... I swear I've used the other bed. Oh, it's because I did the bill for my Let's Play. I just realised I did the bill for that. And then, but I didn't film that. And I'd used the other new beds, but I hadn't used that new bed. That's why. But the feel of this room, it started to feel, with that mirror divider, it started to feel a little bit too, not really modern anymore. It felt like a little bit more sort of quirky, or I don't really know how to describe it, but and with that rug that I just put in that I deleted, it didn't really seem right, and I didn't really like the chest of drawers that were there, so I changed it. So I just added these things in, and I felt like it had a slightly more modern look to it. I'm not really sure. Also, in some lighting, those curtains are blue, and then in others they're black. I don't know whether they're actually black and I'm just blind. And sometimes I can see. But that flooring, that mat sort of thing, I've forgotten what they're called. I swear every video I've forgotten what the name of something is. I feel like they begin with T, but sort of mats that you get in a lot of like Japanese places. Like floor mats, but they normally cover the whole room, but that kind of reminded me of it. So I put that in. In this room, the purple, like this one I like, but the red and purple one, I actually don't really like it. And I was like, I'll use it. I'll try and incorporate it because I'm probably not going to use it again. And it was kind of Asian-ish. So I thought, why not use it? But I don't like it. And I really like this build, and I didn't want to spoil it with that pattern. I think I have used it once. I think in the market build I did use it. So I've used it once. I can take that off, and I can now ignore that. But I don't know, maybe on its own it's fine with other things, but I felt like with the bed covers and then the curtain as well, it was just too much, and I'm not a big fan of it. So yeah, but I did a purple room, and I quite like how this came out. And yeah, I normally do
pale, or I do use normal woods coloured flooring as well, but I don't normally use white carpets, but I decided to use that in this build. I hope you like. I went into town today and I bought my sister a birthday present, and I'm going in a few days out into town again to buy some Christmas presents. And I'm buying Christmas presents at this time is actually early for me. You'll have to let me know. Do it right in the comments if you've got this far into the video. Have you started your Christmas shopping yet? Because I feel like this is still early. I don't know, but the thing is my mum does the shopping for Christmas pretty early and starts thinking about it pretty early, and she's quite organised with it. My dad, however, Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas Eve, almost every year, he's getting his presents then, and it's like just before the shops close as well, and he's gone out to the shops just to do some last minute shopping, and and it's like a last minute sort of panic, and he's like a speed shopper, like at any time. And I remember as a kid, whenever we used to do shopping, and of course when I was younger, I was too young to shop for my mum for Christmas presents on my own, so we'd always go with my dad, so we'd always be on New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve. That's the second time I've done that today, but yeah, so it would be manic, and whenever I went shopping with my dad, me and my sister would have to walk as fast as we can, intermittent with running, to keep up with my dad, because he was walking so fast. And I mean, both my sister and I, we grew really tall really quickly, and I'm 5'10", and I was only about 2 inches shorter than I am now when I was 11 or 12. So we weren't short, we were probably quite tall by that point, taller than some adults. And we were struggling to keep up with my dad. And we'd just be racing around. And the thing is he was really good at shopping as well. And it would be like, he has ideas in his mind, and it was like, first shop, bam, got it. Second shop, bam, got it. And he's like done in like 45 minutes. All like loads and loads of shopping done in that time. And me and my sister like this, because he can't walk. Because he's gone so fast. He doesn't really walk that fast anymore. Because quite a lot of the time when we go shopping, we go as a group, and so he tends not to go as fast. I don't know, he just doesn't seem to go as fast anymore, but it was quite funny at the time, how fast we would go. But yeah, so normally I kind of, my mum does it really early, my dad does it really really late. I normally did it somewhere in the middle from my own stuff, like actually in December I'd start, but maybe it was around like the 10th to the 15th, like that kind of time, but not November. So this is quite early for me. I guess I always wait until after my sister's birthday to then focus on Christmas, I guess. Maybe that's what it is, but yeah, it's funny. But yeah, you'll have to let me know. Have you started your Christmas shopping yet? But yeah, we've finished one bedroom and we've gone on to the next one, and we've finished another one. So I had this sort of slat thing with this circle in the middle. I almost said 0 again. I'm such an umpty. But it was sort of sticking out through the walls. So originally I was going to just sort of put the mirror in to kind of hide it and then find another object to put in there. But instead what I used was that candle thing. And I just, slotted it in those spaces, and it kind of made it used up that space. Like I didn't just do a wall straight across, but I still used the space, so you haven't got those sort of awkward squares with nothing in. I still used it, but it was with an item, and it still looked nice, it wasn't, you couldn't see the slats anymore. But down here, again, it's kind of that modern, but kind of not at the same time, and I thought about putting a karaoke here, and I thought, actually, if you've got this apartment, it's going to be a lot of money, and so you'd be able to afford a piano. So I put a piano in underneath the stairs, and I felt like it was quite a good spot for it. I don't know. Also, using the mouse and using the Sims 3 camera mode, I have loved being able to turn objects like any direction I want to by pressing the Alt key. I've been loving it so much, and it's just made interiors so much easier using it. So yeah, although I do actually still really love using my Mac trackpad. Yeah, I will use my mouse from now on. But you'll see the original colour scheme for this room was kind of like a goldy beigey sort of colour, red and then browns, browny black. So because of that, I put the red on the wall and then with the brick from the outside. And it was with the really dark kitchen and then with a really dark living room, and everything was just really, really dark, and it was all kind of building up. And so I ended up putting this sort of goldy creamy colour in instead, and I felt like that sort of lifted the whole thing. But we put in some pipes and stuff by the entrance to sort of play into that industrial vibe. Maybe some people will think that adding in the industrial stuff to this build might spoil it, but I quite like it actually. I mean, I'm a big fan of industrial size style things. As when I used to do like artwork, I used to make things ugly on purpose because I felt like that was pretty. I don't know whether that would make sense, but something that's like used and sort of or lived in or worn away, and I feel like it has character, and I feel like it has so much more like substance to it and so much more interest and all of that kind of stuff if it's something that feels like it's been well loved, so I really like that kind of stuff. So because of that, I thought it also kind of reminded me at my university, our art building had been an old textile factory warehouse thing that had actually been then converted into our new art building, and they had loads of the old piping that was all over the building, but they coloured it in really, really bright colours, which I thought was really awesome. So I kind of incorporated that into this build. But we've got this little party area sort of thing up here with the swimming pool. And, you can kind of sort of fit around there. I thought that maybe it might be a nice spot for, screenshots or someone to sit or whatever. These little stools, I always think they're tables for some reason. I have no idea why. But, yeah, I think it's because I always go and find them through, how you kind of have ideas of where in the catalogue certain items are. To get that item, I always go into outdoor furniture. And because it's in outdoor furniture, it doesn't actually say if it's, a stool or a thing. But it's kind of like a party-ish area, but the bit round the corner, not this bit, but the bit just round the side, that's kind of a party area as well. But I think actually adding the green into this lot just makes it so much better. I don't know, and it's easier to fill up the space. I don't know, I really like to sort of overgrown with like plants and stuff. I just feel like it looks so much better. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know where I'm going with this. Where am I going with this? Answer in the comments below. What was I talking about? But yeah, so we've got like the jacuzzi bit here, and then I put, more of these out. I love these ottomans, like with the worn wood and the black. I think that I didn't realise they came in that colourway, otherwise I would have used them so much. And they go so well with this build. I don't know, I really like them. I feel like they have, I don't know, it's because of the worn wood. Like, I love worn wood in sort of things, like the tables which are worn wood, and those where they've got all the texture and the colour on. I just think that looks so good, so much better than, just plain standard. I think what it is like plain wood, like when it's got the texture of just flat wood, it just reminds me of like really, really cheap flat packed furniture, that like the laminate stuff that starts to peel away after, like a couple of months, that kind of furniture. It just reminds me of that. But like worn wood, I feel like it's really, really beautiful in real life, but it just has so much character, and it just has that more, I don't know, it does feel more classy. I don't know, at least in the game. It means that it doesn't remind me of the flat pack furniture, so I try to use that kind of thing. The desk in the sort of purple and white room, that's an example of, like, I still used it, but that's an example of, you know, furniture which kind of reminds me of flat pack furniture, which can be very good. I do appreciate IKEA and other stores with flat pack furniture, but when you're trying to make something look classy, it's sometimes not the best. But we put some more piping around there, and it's just finishing touches now, just adding in other trees and stuff. But I'm getting pretty close to the end. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Leave in the comments if you've got any other ideas of builds which you want me to do, or you want to see, or if you want to see more builds like this. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you again soon.